Before leaving the office with your pH manager on the mobile sensor platform, there's a few things you want to check over to ensure proper operation. The first thing is check over the parallel linkage. Make sure there are no loose or missing bolts. The next thing we want to move down to the sampling shoe. We want to make sure that any soil that is built up from previous mapping is removed to allow clean and smooth soil flow and soil cores to gather in the sampling shoe. The next thing we want to do is move on up to the controller. Now we want to flip the controller to manual and actually manually operate the sampler up and down. Now by doing this we can check a few things. The first thing we want to check is proper scraper contact. We want to make sure that this scrapes and cuts the soil core cleanly and allows for a better core in the shoe itself. Then the next thing, when it's all the way raised, we want to check for proper contact between the electrodes and the sampling shoe. We're looking for about a 1/4 to 1/2 inch gap between the two. The next thing we want to check on the hydraulics is we want to check the flow and the rate. We want to make sure that this cycle speed takes about a 1 to 1.5 seconds time, and this allows for proper operation on the proc sensor, which is also a good time to check because there's a light on here that indicates when it is cycling. Now after you've checked over the hydraulics and the sampler that it is operating correctly, you want to check the wash system. You want to make sure that it is properly washing the electrodes and getting them clean between each sample. To run a calibration procedure, what you'll need is the 4 and 7 pH solutions as well as the pH solution cup. This solution cup allows you to put a small amount of solution here and attach it to electrodes. Now following the on-screen prompts, you can successfully complete a pH calibration. Now occasionally you're going to find a problem where you're not going to be able to get a complete calibration. The electrodes won't calibrate fully. Well, what we tend to find is there is, after long-term storage, a little bit of white film that forms on the antimony tip of the electrodes. You can use sandpaper or emery cloth to clean this off, and then you should be able to get a successful calibration. Now once you've completed all these steps, before you head out to the field, you want to drive around the parking lot with the implement in the air and test for the whole system for good operation to minimize the downtime out in the field. Now all these tips are available to you on the startup card included in your manual.